glad you brought that up because there was a point where I felt ignored.
Let me be honest. I was the one that was always kind of afraid to travel without Caitlin or Amber. And so Jamie would always encourage, he would always like say, man, we need to take a vacation. We need to take a vacation. And because I was always in mommy mode, again, because I felt as though this role of being a mother was what made me be me, right? It felt like that role of a mother was my role, was my own, not my only role, but my main role. And because it was my main role, I felt as though everything else essentially will take a back burner, will become second, including Jamie, right? And so that's something that I realized that I was doing when we were on vacation.
I'm glad you brought that up because there was a point where I felt ignored and not seen. It's like there's a point where I felt ignored or not seen, but it was understandable because the kids are more important, because the career is more important. And so you can't complain about that because, how does it look saying like, yo, you give the kids more attention than me. They're very young. Obviously, they need it. So, sometimes we get caught up in so much of doing so much responsibility that we forget about the responsibility we have to each other, right? And I think you could speak to this, I think on the other side of the spectrum that I was so like really, really engaged in pastoring, engaged in traveling and preaching in school that, I'm thinking that this is my responsibility of being a good husband. The more that I'm doing to be able to continue to provide, to continue to contribute to the pot because you were working too, to make sure that, being busy doing parenting stuff, fatherly stuff, manly stuff, is my version or my way of showing that I love you and that I'm providing and that I'm seeing you.
All of this is so good because it is a serious thing. I feel as though like as a man, to your point, you said that you felt like you were doing the manly thing, right? Which is I'm going to provide for my family. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this and doing that. And for me, I felt sometimes left behind